Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone's having a good day today. Today, I would like to talk about how I think we should unite and conquer. So, recently I saw a podcast. A shout out to at the Sean Ryan Show. Shout out to him with his content exposing corruption, and some of the guys he's had on that show are really, really true Americans and exposing a lot of stuff that's going on right now that the world needs to know. And he's a former Navy SEAL. His name's Eli Grade, and he was a congressional member for Arizona. He's a Republican, and basically he set out to be elected in office, about a year or two ago, and he actually won. And basically, before he went in, he was kind of like a conspiracy theorist, or so he had his conspiracies about the government and stuff and how he thought things were, and turns out he was right about a lot of stuff, that it's corrupt, and a lot of the stuff he was saying before he went in is coming out to be true. So I suggest you go out and check that video out. It just came out, I believe yesterday, and it's a very good show. And he's basically talking about everything about his time and how basically you're sucked in as soon as you get elected into office. And he goes over basically what he thinks he can do to make change, what he tried to do. I know he had a big part to do with that student debt relief, that bill that was just passed. He had a lot to do with that. But basically, he was talking about how, they divide you rich versus poor, how they divide you with, black versus white. And I mean, that's very true. In my opinion, that's exactly what's going on. And you see it everywhere, all over the news. Everything's about race. Everything's about, money. And, these people that we elect into power, they have a duty to represent us, the people, and they don't do that. I think some of them get in there and they just want to be glorified as soon as they get in. And basically this guy, this specific congressional member, he went against what he thought. He actually went for his voters. He went off what his voters told him, and so he followed his heart and basically made a decision to do the opposite of what he believed in, but he was making it about the people. And that's just something you don't see every day, is making it about the voters. And I think that's a true representation of what our people in power are supposed to be representing, us. And I think if a lot of them would start doing for the people, I think we would be in a lot better situation. You look at, all this money they're sending to foreign countries, they're aiding them, they're funding them. Look at Ukraine, they're sending billions of dollars over there, over here, our borders, everything. Nothing is shown to represent us. So I think it's not the representation of what America is supposed to be. We're the land of the free, greatest opportunities, a lot of successful people here. But, I think we've let our morals and our power, get in the way of a lot of stuff. And unfortunately, that's not the way it's supposed to be. So anyways, my opinion on what I think is a way to change it is we need to unite and conquer. Right now it's backwards. Right now it's divide and conquer. We need to unite and conquer. And I definitely don't think, with our mindsets, with our two-party system, I don't think we're going to unite that way. That's just going to further divide us even more. I think we need to unite, from a spiritual aspect, through God, of course. But unfortunately, we're divided with God. There's a lot of people, atheists, that don't believe in God. And, Satan is running a lot of our evil right now, all of our evil, as a matter of fact. And some people are following down his footsteps. And as long as we don't have God, as long as I see God is not in people's lives, I think people are still going to be causing chaos, not going to be a representation of what a true American is. And I think that's absurd if you don't follow Christ, and you know, I think that's absurd. I think you're gonna go down a wrong path that's not going to be good in the long run. Now, I'm not saying Christians are perfect, because by all means they're not. You see what's going on with some of the churches, and you know, the stereotypes about Christians, and you know, all this stuff that goes on. You know, Christians are sinners as well, but it's having faith in God that matters. You know, we're all sinners, but what separates a sinner from another sinner is that faith in God. And that is what matters, is having faith in God and knowing, you know, that you can be forgiven, and you know, God is always going to guide you in your life. Whether you do good or wrong, God is going to be there for you no matter what, as long as you have faith in him. So I think as a country, coming together through Christ is the most powerful thing we can probably do as a nation, because like I said, Democrat, Republican, we're not going to unite that way. They believe in two different things. They have two interpretations that oppose each other. And, you know, as far as it is, they all are on the same team practically. They're all, you know, in power. They're all in some way want to control our lives, and I don't think that's the way to do it. We need to start holding these people accountable, and so many people are scared to hold them accountable, and we need to start standing up for it and holding these people accountable, because if we don't do that, they're going to keep rolling over on us, and they're going to keep doing what they want to do, and there's nothing we can do about it. And we're starting to see it now. You know, they're pushing all these agendas. They're pushing you away from God. They're pushing you more and more towards evil and away from good. Why do you think that is? It's because they know if you can do bad stuff, you can get people to do bad stuff and do evil stuff, you know you're going to destroy the country, and you know that there's never going to be anybody, there's going to be no one that unites. They don't want that. They don't want anybody to unite. They want to divide everybody. So that's why they keep coming up with all these agendas that are evil and bad, because they know people are going to do bad things ultimately, and they know people are dumb enough to follow by all this. And I say resist it, resist them, you know. And if there's something that you don't like, stand up for it. If there's something that is against what you believe in, talk about it. You're going to get hated on. You're going to get hated on. The truth, every time somebody talks the truth, there's always a hater that's going to come out and crap on you and tell you all this stuff, that you're an idiot, you're a conspiracy theorist, you know, you're the problem. Let them, screw them, let them think like that. You, as a person, standing up for what you believe in, no matter what anybody believes, that makes you true to yourself. And that a lot of people can't say that about themselves. How many people are fake in this world? A lot. We have a lot of fake people. We have a lot of people that really deep down inside think all this is wrong, but they're too chicken shit to say anything about it, because they don't want to offend anybody, or, you know, that's not what our government represents, or that's not what our nation represents. You know, our nation, it's different now. You know, we can't offend anybody. We can't hurt anybody's feelings, or, we can't say certain things that, go against, the agenda. But screw all that. Go against everything that doesn't represent you. It's okay. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up now, with the whole Bud Light thing that came out. Sales are at an all-time low. You see teachers, I'm sorry, not teachers, but, parents of students that are coming out and talking about it. They're talking about what's going on in their schools and what's being taught to their children. They don't like that. And I think that's great. I think we need to start fighting back. If you have kids out there, parents, start fighting for your kids, because they're going to control your kids. They have a lot of control over your kids' minds, because they're at school, 8 hours a day. You're at work. They're being indoctrinated in that school system on, whatever's being taught. And unfortunately, we're not being taught history anymore in these schools. We're being taught, kids can cut their genitals off at a certain age, and teaching kids about sex, no parental consents. Back when I was in school, sex ed class, anything like that, we had to get a waiver signed to be able to learn any of that stuff. Your parents had to sign that stuff. And I was well over 12 before I signed anything to learn anything about, sex or anything like that, about another race, about this LGBT stuff. Like, all that needs to be parentally consented. There's no reason why, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds are learning about that stuff. That's not the time of it. The time, it's the parents' responsibility, and it's as the kids grow older and grow more mature. Kids are not mature at that age, and that is not what is supposed to be taught. And I think that's why a lot of ignorance is happening in the world, is because we've gone away from history. We're not learning about that stuff anymore. And it's very sad, but unfortunately, it's the reality of the world we live in now. And everybody is a voice. Everybody has a voice. Everybody can learn from each other. But you need to talk. You need to speak up, because if you do not speak up and you don't talk about this stuff, it's going to continue to happen. And I think a lot of people, are scared of backlash. Obviously, nobody wants backlash, for speaking the truth, or, it's uncomfortable. I mean, some of this stuff is very uncomfortable to talk about. It is, but it needs to be said. So, everybody's aware of it, and everybody knows that it's wrong. But I'm seeing a difference. More and more people are slowly coming out and talking about, their experiences, and, kind of revealing the truth. And yeah, they're getting a lot of backlash. They're getting threats, and that's what happens. And I think that's why a lot of people are scared. But look at what happened to Jesus. Jesus died for what he believed in. Jesus died to save us. You really, truly have to die in believing what you believe in. You have to be willing to die. And unfortunately, I think a lot, I won't say majority, but I think a lot of our society truly would not die believing in what they believe in. And I just say to them,